Hey folks, I'm Melhorn. If you came across this video, you're either a subscriber to my fishing channel or you're looking to build your channel here on YouTube. Well, this video isn't going to have any fishing in it, but I am going to talk about my path on how I got to my first 10,000 subscribers. So if you're interested in the channel and the history, or if you're looking to build your channel, I think there's going to be some good tips, some good motivating points in this video that you may be facing or you may be facing down the road. Well, first, I'll let you in on a little secret. I've already shot, edited, and uploaded this video one time. I put it together the other day, got it cut, got it up online, and I didn't like it. It just sucked, is the bottom line. I didn't like what I had, so I deleted it. The reason I'm telling you this is because even after you've been at this for a while, had some limited success like I have, you're going to create some stuff that just isn't going to be good. You're going to do some stuff that you may rush through. I think that's what I did in this video. Those kind of little things are normal. That's all part of the process. All part of this process is figuring stuff out as you go. There is no right or wrong. And I think that's the takeaway of this little segment is there is no answer. I'm sure you've done, especially if you're not from one of my subscribers and you wound up here because of the type of content, the title, and the thumbnail, you're trying to grow a channel, build your channel, and there's no right or wrong. And that was the hardest thing for me to get in the beginning, is that there's no right or wrong way to do something. Every little niche is different. What I do in the fishing world does not work the same as other niche markets on YouTube. I've noticed that with the length of our content, our thumbnails, the way it's put together, a lot of times stuff in this area in the fishing outdoor world is totally different than what you would see in the makeup world, in the cooking world, in the travel world. It's put together totally different. You got a totally different viewer, and you kind of have to figure that out for whatever world that you're in, whatever type of content that you're trying to create. That takes time. You're going to do some stuff that you're going to create. You're going to put it up. It's going to do really well. You're going to be going, wow, this is great. This is awesome. And then you're going to create another piece of content and you're going to put it up and you're going to go, wow, I really put a lot of editing in this and made it look really good. And then nobody's going to watch it. And that's just the nature of this platform. It can be frustrating. You want to beat your head in the wall. It's all part of the process. I'm telling you all this because I've been through it, and every other creator out there that has any success, the one we all look up to, has done the same thing. I've talked with a lot of them, and I've heard that story repeatedly from them. So going into it, get your head wrapped around that. You're going to have some good times. You're going to have some bad times. You're going to do some stuff that's good. You're going to do some stuff that's bad, but you got to keep digging. Oh, look here. I'm sitting in my car making another YouTube video. I'm sure many of you have probably done the same thing. There's a lot of YouTube content created in our cars. I think that's because a lot of times we have to find the opportunities and the moments to get the content done, to get shot what we need to shoot. My whole point in all this is it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It can be time consuming. Most of you, pretty much all of you that are going to be watching this video are not full-time YouTubers. And you're going to know that it's a part-time gig. You're doing this on the side. You're doing this while you're maintaining a job, you're maintaining a family, and you're trying to squeeze in little places here and there where you can do this. That's perfectly normal. That's the way it works. But it is a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment, especially to grow it. I started tracking my hours recently, started keeping track of how many hours a day I commit to doing work for the channel, for the brand. And at first it was kind of surprising. I thought I was doing more than I was. But when I looked back at it and started adding up all the hours, I was going, I think the first month I came up with like 20 hours. Okay. That's only half a week's work at a full-time job. So my point was in that one, that month I didn't put in a lot of hours. There wasn't a lot of work committed to it. And the whole point too is that I have seen a direct correlation between the amount of hours that I put in and the return in the number of views that I get. And in most cases, views translate into more money. So if you're trying to make more money on YouTube, trying to make it a full-time job, or at least a full-time, part-time job, the more hours you can put in, the better you are. And sometimes that's tough. And I understand that. I'm lucky. I've got a great family. I've got a great wife. Our situation and my job, what I do for a living, affords me massive amounts of off time, only to be followed up with massive amounts of work time. Not everybody has that opportunity. I understand that. Everybody's individual, but you got to find a way that will make it work for you if you want to make it work. Now, with that said, not everybody's going to be a YouTube star. It's not just because you have videos up on this platform doesn't mean that you've got to have great success and a silver play button and make a living doing it. YouTube can be a wonderful place just to upload some content, just to store videos of your family vacations, your Christmas, your holidays, that kind of stuff. But I think most of you that are watching this video and you're that far into it want to do more with your channel. So that's why I'm throwing all this stuff out there for you to think about. We'll take a minute and talk about those first 1,000 subscribers, because quite honestly, if you came across this video and you're not a subscriber to my channel, you're probably looking to grow your channel and you probably don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm going to talk about that first 1,000, the first 10,000, the first 100. I heard something one time from Casey Neistat in one of his videos, and he said something that was very interesting, and I've heard this from other big-time YouTubers in some candid discussions that they've had, and it's what he was saying is that if he was at 10 million, going from 9 million to 10 million wasn't really a big deal. And you sit there and you go, what? That's another million people. And, you know, he went on to say that going from, you know, it was a lot harder to go from 100,000 to a million. You know, that 1 million, you know, adding 900,000 people there, that first million was a lot harder than going from 9 million to 10 million. And he went on to say that the hardest thing he did on YouTube was getting his first 1,000 subscribers. And it's very true. It's very true. There are very few people that have the ability to basically explode right out of the gate. It's just very, very rare. Most people have to work at it. They have to dig. And that first 1,000 is like, it's a mountain. It's monumental. If you hadn't got to 100 yet, you know what that's like. So my point being is that one of the things as you commit time to and you commit work to and you commit effort to it and hard work to it, the growth will almost be exponential. And you're not going to go from 1,000 to 10,000 overnight unless you're really, really special. But the growth comes a lot quicker. A lot of it has to do with your content, refining what you're doing, what you're creating, how YouTube picks up on it, understanding your market. There's just a lot happens when you commit to it and work hard and pay attention to everything that's going on in the niche that you're working. So if you haven't got to that 1,000 yet, once you get there, that next 1,000 is going to be nowhere near as hard, believe it or not, as getting to that first 1,000. And if you're getting to 10,000, I'm hoping, I'm not to 20,000 yet, at least not at the taping of this, but I got a feeling that the next 10,000 will be a lot easier to get to and a lot faster than the first 10,000. Well, folks, if you made it this far into this video, you're probably halfway serious about building your channel and growing it to the point that you can possibly make some money. Most people who are trying to get more subscribers are looking to get some kind of income out of their work and their efforts. So I guess you're asking, well, how much money can you make doing this? Well, it depends on this one thing here, and this is what I tell a lot of people. Brian G. Johnson, you're free to use this in one of your videos. Subscribers are for your ego. Views are for your bank account. And what I mean by that is that subscribers are great. You look at that number sitting there on your channel and you go, wow, I've got however many subscribers. You look at somebody else and you go, wow, they've got 1 million subscribers. The truth is, you don't get paid anything for subscribers. Plain and simple. The bottom line truth is that it is nothing but ego stroking and the number of people that have clicked on that subscribe button. Where you get your money is from your views. So you're better off to have 10,000 subscribers that watch every single minute of every piece of content that you put out than to have 100,000 and only 5% of them are watching, you know, the first 3 minutes of what you're putting out. So Just keep that in mind. I know nobody gives out good answers here on that. Everybody's looking for some type of benchmark to aim for. Some type of, something out there to hit. If you're looking at numbers and something, some type of range on monetary income, the best information I can give you is looking at your views, and you're going to get, depending on your CPMs, and CPMs is one of those big technical terms that varies on a lot of things. It varies on your content. I can't figure out where the numbers come from. I have the CPM on some stuff is astronomically high, and on other things it's low, and some stuff it's average. But you're going to make anywhere from $3 to $6 per thousand is what I have seen on my videos, just depending on what's going on. So you can extrapolate that out, and that's about $3,000 to $6,000 per million views. So depending on how much money you want to make, depending on how much you need, that's kind of a ballpark on where all that lands. Now, all that varies, and that's the tough part, depending on the channel, the niche, everything else that you're doing content on, as to how much you're going to make. And it depends the content that you put out there. I don't know for a fact, but I've heard some of the gaming channels extremely low CPMs because everybody under the brother's doing gaming. Whereas you may be doing travel, finance, something like that, there's a lot, higher stakeholders in it that will pay more. So if you're looking for numbers on money, it's going to vary. It's going to vary on your content. But the bottom line is views are more important than subscribers. All right, guys, I'm sitting where most of my content's created, where pretty much all of it was created when I first started my channel. And that's my boat, except the boat's normally in the water and not sitting in my driveway. But for this video, we're sitting here and it's nice and still and stable. A lot of people ask, I get messages all the time, what kind of cameras are you using? What kind of gear do you use? Do I need to get better microphones? I want to open the channel. Listen, guys, don't get too bent out of shape on spending a lot of money on equipment. Granted, yeah, I've got a lavalier mic on right now. It's a very good mic. Hopefully the wind's not humming across it too loud right now. And I've got a Canon 80D camera here, which makes self-shooting very easy. But when I started out with that right there, and that's a GoPro camera. It worked fine. It worked fine for the first year and a half of my channel. I added another one, so I had two of them. Gave me a cutaway camera to shoot stuff with. But you don't have to go that advanced. Don't go nuts in the beginning. You can shoot your stuff with an iPhone. It'll produce great content. Remember, it's about the story. It's more about the story than it is the gear. You can have the greatest cameras in the world. I could be out here shooting with an Amira, which is what I use in the real world doing video production. But it's not going to be worth anything if you're not telling a good story and keeping people drawn in. One other point along gear and equipment and all that kind of stuff I'll tell you real quick is great audio or good audio is better than a great picture with bad audio. And what I mean by that is you've got to hear what somebody says. If it's very windy or they're way far away from the mic, you're going to lose interest real fast and you'll lose focus on what's going on. A lot of people ask me about my audio on the boat when I'm fishing. I don't wear a mic like I'm wearing right now. I get it off the camera, and it all comes down to proximity. So here's your little tip on getting good audio. Close to the mic. That is the name of the game. I wear a chesty cam, which is mounted right here. It's basically the same place that this lavalier mic is mounted. So my point being, if you're doing something with like an iPhone or a GoPro, make sure it's close to your face when you're talking to it. These things have a wide angle lens option. You're better off using that wide angle lens and having it this close to your face, your entire face. I know that with my GoPro cameras, when I have the wide angle, I can have the camera this close to my face, okay? That's about 10, 12 inches from my mouth. I get extremely good audio that close, and it's the kind of audio that I can use. It's clear, it's crisp, without a lot of background noise. So it's those little things to keep in mind when you're doing videos. Don't be a real far way away from your camera. Get that camera up close to you if you're using an internal mic, and it'll really help you out. And you can do this with cheap equipment. You can do it with an iPhone. Concentrate on the story. Story is king in any of the content that is on YouTube. Plain and simple. Editing's great, beautiful images and sunrises and time lapses and drones. All of that's wonderful. But if you're not telling a good story, nobody's going to watch it. Story is king. I'll tell you one thing that's kind of dramatic, and if you're starting out your channel a few months into it, a year into it, you may understand this, and that's loneliness. It's a lonely journey, and I'm not being over dramatic about this. If you're serious about growing your channel here on YouTube and serious about getting better, getting more subscribers, getting more views, it can be a very lonely journey. And what I mean by that is a lot of people don't get it. They don't get what you're doing. They don't get what you're trying to do. Even your spouse, your significant other, they may not get exactly what you're doing. A lot of people view YouTube as nothing more than a sideshow entertainment, and they don't really understand what it takes to get to a level where you have a lot of followers and a lot of people watching your content. So that's one thing I tell people that are kind of new to the platform. Don't feel like you're the Lone Ranger out there. Sometimes you get out there and it can be frustrating. You have your ups and your downs, good times and your bad times. Things go good, then they go bad. And honestly, there's not a lot of people to bounce anything off of. It's not like you can talk to your best friend about it, because you know as well as I do, when you do, they kind of look at you like you're crazy. So it's kind of a wild, wild west. It's a new world. It's a new frontier. And I'm just trying to tell people that and let them know that, yeah, you're not crazy. There are some groups. There are some groups on Facebook. There's some groups here on YouTube, especially some of the creator platforms that are out there. Brian G. Johnson has a great community. He has a lot of content that is built around YouTubers growing their channel, and he's got a great community. Those kind of places like that Brian has are good places to go hang out with fellow creators. It's a good place to get some feedback. To voice your frustrations, voice your successes, and those kind of places are where I would suggest to go to. So you got some people to communicate with, but we all know in the end you got to kind of put your head down, start digging, start cranking out content, and that can be a lonely path. Well, folks, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and here are a couple of more videos that I think you're going to like.